Hi, and welcome to Pauline Interviews. I've got a really interesting topic for you, and I'm interviewing JuJuolui Kuita. Took me a while to pronounce her name, but I think I got it right. But before I talk to JuJuolui, I want to say something to everybody who's watching today. First of all, do you know the difference between a universe, a galaxy, and a solar system? If not, I'm going to tell you. I had to go on the internet to find out because I didn't remember. I went to school a long time ago. But the solar systems are the smallest of three systems in the question. The solar system consists of a star, such as the sun, and the objects affected by its gravity. These objects include planets, moons, asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. Although the solar systems are smaller than either the universe or a galaxy, the actual size is even of the smallest solar system is difficult for the human mind to truly comprehend. But I won't get into all that. The next thing is a galaxy. A galaxy is a system of solar systems like other stars. Galaxies, like solar systems, are held together by gravity. In galaxies, the solar systems are separated by vast sections, mostly empty space. And now the universe, the big picture. The universe is the largest of these three astronomical concepts. All things, including galaxies, solar systems, are included within the realm of the universe. Although everything is known to man is contained within the universe, science believes the universe is to be continually expanding. So we have this huge creation, loads of planets and stars, and I can't even think about it. It just boggles my mind. But my question is, why would we believe we are the only life forms in creation when the universe is so huge? Like, I can't even comprehend it. So what am I leading up to? Well, I'm leading up to, have you ever thought that there might be life on other planets and other dimensions and other creations? So my guest today, I said, was JuJuolui Kuita, and she wrote an interesting book called We Are Among You Already, True Stories of Star Beings on Earth. So we're going to talk about that in part 2. Now we're at part 1, so we need to start at the beginning. So I have some questions for my guest right now. And so, JuJuolui, thank you for joining me and putting yourself out there. But excuse me, you already put yourself out there when you wrote your book, right? What made you decide to write the book? I mean, because a lot of people are not open-minded enough, you know, to accept the facts in your book.
Well, that's mainly why. It's not to convince anyone, it's just to put the information out there. If people don't have the information available, if it's not there, then they're not going to grow from it. At least putting it out there, they can choose whether they resonate with it at the moment and it feels right to pick it up and read it or look at it or watch it, or, you know, however they get their information. And sometimes it takes a couple of years, you know, you plant the seed. But it's not to convince them or turn them around, or, you know, there's no judgment in it. It's just, it's a higher way of thinking, and the higher consciousness that we can obtain in this lifetime, the better we can advance spiritually and become who we really are.
Well, people who've watched my show know I'm curious. That's why I'm very curious about everything, and to me it's exciting to think about these things. So I enjoyed your book very much, and you did state that. You're not trying to convince anybody, you're not trying to prove anything, you're just putting it out there, and I love the way you worded that. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
So we talked about star seeds, and what actually are we talking about when we talk about ETs, extraterrestrials?
There's so many names, and titles, you know, they're just meant to try to get a grasp or an understanding, but the separation is not really important because we're all connected anyway. But basically, by saying ET or extraterrestrial or even alien, which I don't use that word because alien means that it's an unknown thing to you, and if I say that, then I'm never going to get to know it or them or whoever.
That's a great point. I never
use that word because to me it's a lower vibration. I always try for the higher vibrational words. So star being just simply means a being that is from the stars. ET is extraterrestrial, meaning not of Earth. There's so many ways to say it. It just depends on what resonates at the time.
It's all the same thing.
It just depends on where you're at and what you're studying, and that's all that matters.
So among these people that are from other other planets, I should say, these ETs, is there a common theme among these people that they don't feel comfortable here on this planet? How do they know that they're not from here, in other words?
Oh, you mean people like me who have incarnated here?
Yes.
Well, everyone's different as well in that respect because we have a veil. You know, every spirit that incarnates on earth gets a nice spiritual veil where they don't remember. So even I, you know, didn't remember. It just gradually came throughout the years at specific key points in growth. But
can you elaborate on that? Like, how old were you the first time, and how did it come to you? If you can.
Yeah, I mean, as far back as I can remember. I mean, I don't know how old I was. I just remember having a knowing. There's so many ways of getting the information, whether it's hearing it or telepathy or feeling, but it's an instant knowing that I knew I wasn't from here, and I could hear them always speak to me.
Who's them?
Well, I didn't know. I just heard this voice. It was very loving, and it resonated with who I am, and I trusted it. And I would just grow up hearing these voices. It was actually just one voice. It was always a male voice, and his name's Jeremy, from where I'm from, and he's my guide and helper.
And where are you from?
Fugwe.
Okay.
In the Andromeda Galaxy.
The Andromeda Galaxy is next to the Milky Way, which is our galaxy.
It's very close to the Milky Way.
Which
it's
is our
the
galaxy.
brother, yeah, to here, but still very, very far away. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, we were
get distracted easily.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll remember that when I jump in. I won't do that again.
That's okay.
We were talking about how you felt you didn't belong here, and you knew it, and you knew instinctively that you came from somewhere else.
Thank you.
At different points.
So I would hear them, and they would talk to me, and then I'd have instant knowing that this isn't my home, but I'm here to do something. And I remember watching the skeleton dancing on TV with the knee bone connected to the thigh bone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that what this looks like underneath? Because that's not what we look like. We're very different looking. So I was a little traumatized by seeing that, and you know, just little things like that. And
I was reading your book. Some people they feel like they were adopted. They don't feel like their birth parents are their real parents. This I'm getting this from your book. Earth just doesn't feel like home to them.
Yeah,
I can kind of relate, not to Earth. It feels like home to me, but different parts of Earth feel more at home. Like when I go to Europe, parts of Europe, I just feel I belong there.
And that's wonderful when you
the
can
West
sense
Coast.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel it. I mean, the energy.
It's a good feeling when you finally find home. I've been traveling all over. I move so much because I'm always looking for home. I guess that's why I'm doing it, because I'm always searching for that place that feels like home, and I just can't find it.
You can't find it on Earth.
I just can't find it. So finally I just realized, okay, I'm not going to find it, so just get comfortable, just do your best, and go what resonates most. So I did finally find it here. So
how did your family react to this, saying I don't feel like
they've been dealing with me for ever since, you know, I was a baby basically, and coming up with these things, telling them the dreams I was having, and you know, that were real. You know, they weren't dreams, they were just experiences in the astral. So I would share them because I'm a sharer, I'm a storyteller, and I like clear communication and being transparent. And so I would always share, and because obviously if it's true for me, it's got to be true for someone else, and you know, why not share it? But no, they were Pentecostal, so that didn't go over very well.
Any religion would probably know it.
Yeah, most religions just, they don't understand it.
When you say the astral, not everybody understands what's the astral. It's another dimension.
It's the energy level right above this 3D level of manifestation here on Earth. So every planet's got their own astral. So it may not be the fourth dimension, just the one right above Earth. Yeah. It might be a fifth dimensional planet like mine, but then the astral would be the next layer on that your eyes can't sense.
So your planet then, being fifth dimension, is higher vibration, it's more love, more.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you miss it. I know, because you know, I just know I have feelings about different parts of the world, but I feel that way too. I feel that if there were more love in this world instead of fear, things would go a lot better.
Well, that's key.
Yeah.
Love is always the answer.
And I was reading in your book too, people feeling different. They don't resonate with other people on Earth. And they
have
also
a hard time relating to
yeah,
people.
to people. They feel odd man out.
Especially human. If you know that you're something different, souls are souls. So if you're spiritually advanced enough to just recognize the spirit in each other, that's a different story.
Namaste.
But I was not. Yes, and I was not that way when I grew up. I was always very spiritual, but our eyes deceive us, and so I just see all these humans, which I'm afraid of. So it took me this long to try to get out of
There are
that.
some good humans, though.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I always believe there are more good humans than bad
That's
or
the way
negative humans.
That's the way to think.
But I loved it in your book because the people that you interviewed, we're going to talk about that later, we're going to talk about your book, but I loved it because what they said, they had feelings of love and empathy for all forms of life. They're open-minded. They don't like violence. They don't like war. They don't like hate or prejudice, fear, or negativity.
They hate.
And I think, well, maybe I'm from someplace else because I resonated with every one of that,
Good.
every bit of that. I'm sure most people do anyway.
That's beautiful.
So, and I also read in your book, they have so people that come from other places have special abilities like healers, psychics.
Certainly. I mean, if
You're
it's
in the
your
healing
mission,
arts.
I'm sorry?
You're in healing art.
If it's your mission to help, and this is why you came, then you're going to be attracted to those type of things and open to those type of things. If it was my mission to be a psychic and help people that way, then they would have allowed me to remain open in that way. So it just wasn't my mission to be psychic, but yet I could open up to the energy that you can channel. See, we're not doing it, we're just channeling it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the higher power is doing it all.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing about the universe. It's a higher power. We're all created by this universe. And who cares if you're from this planet or that
Exactly.
dimension or another
or what you
dimension.
look like.
One of my favorite shows was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I love that one.
Yeah, I resonated with that. When he came down and said, quit having wars, or we're going to destroy you, whatever. And I loved E.T. because the extraterrestrial and the human boy, they shared...
And the dog.
And the dog, they shared a love, and it just...
Yeah.
And I never watched Alien because the little pieces I saw, I didn't like it at all. It just yuck, turned me off. But anyway, so what type of species should I call them species, are out there? Like we have like Caucasian and Indian and...
Races.
Yeah, races, right.
Yeah, there's... it's an unfathomable amount of differences out there, and our minds are not really able to grasp the full context of what's out there. What I've been told from my own people is that everything on Earth is a reflection of what's out there as well. So, you could consider all the insects and all the animals and everything, even
I see what you're
humans,
saying. Yes.
as maybe a subspecies of something that's also represented out there somewhere. So if you could consider...
but higher intelligence.
Potentially, yeah, but they also might be on another 3D world. But you also have your fifth dimensions and your sixth, other types that are intelligent. So,
Well, did you see Men in Black?
yes.
I like that because they had all these creatures and they were all, I watched them and I don't...
I don't even know what those were.
Yeah,
Right.
but it was interesting because they acted
yeah.
like we do on Earth. Some were good, some were bad.
Smoking.
Yeah, they were just all doing it on the dog. I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, it wasn't scary or violent or anything. Well,
They made it so we could relate to them. They smoked, they cussed, they had clothes.
Right.
They talk.
Right.
And so if you make it so that a human can relate to them, it's not as scary.
That's probably why I liked it.
But when you have an ET in front of you that's clicking as communication, that's a little scarier.
They did some of that.
Right.
Yeah, or when they change into something that's going to eat you, that's really scary too. So
that's what movies make you think.
yeah. So right. So we have a lot of, not a lot, but you've connected with some of these people that realize they come from somewhere else, and we're going to talk about that in your book. And so we do have people on Earth that are not originally from the Earth planet, and also I read that they're in the Earth too.
Right. There's whole books about Agatha or Agartha. If I'm saying it right.
I don't know, but
like Admiral Byrd, who flew into this area on one of the poles that was green and foresty and landed and met the beings, and they allowed him to see. So he's an admiral. Admiral.
They allowed him to see it.
Navy.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, they allowed him to come in and talk and everything.
And I mentioned to you before we did the interview, I've known for years about Atlantis and Lemuria, and they were so far advanced technologically, and they had healing crystals, and some of the people thought, well, maybe they came from somewhere else and, came on Earth. Just like Stonehenge, the pyramids. I mean, there's so many things out there that lead us to believe there have been more intelligence on Earth previously than we even realized.
Yeah, and there are definitely different cycles of living on Earth. And a lot of the Native Americans say we're in the 5th sun cycle.
5th sun cycle?
But there's cycles that go through the years, and there's a descending age and there's an ascending age, and we're finally ascending again to a higher age, so we're getting better.
Good. I'm going to save that for your book, because in your book we've got all these people that want to help us. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to add?
Well, there's so much you could add, but the key is love really is the key. There's no separation. It's just what you're seeing is on the outside. The souls all come from the same place.
Right.
And most ETs are actually very peaceful and harmonious, and they care, and they're empathic. But there's a law of non-interference. So
they've got to leave us alone.
They got to leave you alone. Because it's an unconditional love. They have to leave you alone so you grow.
There is one other thing I wanted to ask you. Maybe I can save it. Well, just quickly.
Sure.
There are hints, and you read about this all the time. The government knows what's going on, but they just don't want us to know that they know. Whether they just secretive, or they don't want us to be scared, or what.
There's a lot of that. There's the secret part, because they can't, if you're going to fight in a war, you have to have secrets. You have to have the best technology. So they have to hold that. Well, they believe they have to hold that, just in case there's a war. And
all based out of fear, of course.
Based out of fear. Right.
If there was love, we'd know what's going on, right?
And then we'd be in a better place. But, we're growing. People are learning. And there's the other thing of who's going to divulge the secret that's been going on for forever.
Yeah.
So who's going to take that on?
And who's going to take that risk?
Right. So it's just too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vatican has so much information.
See, I didn't even know that. See, I'm learning.
The lamas in Tibet have a lot of information. There's places on Earth that have a lot more information to give their people than we have in the West.
We're a secretive society here. Yeah. I want to thank you so much for the interview. And I don't think I mentioned it, but I want to thank Ananda Laurelwood, where we are now. It's a spiritual center.
Yes.
And I want to thank them for letting us use their facility. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching another edition of Pauline Interviews, but stay tuned for part 2, because we're going to talk about a wonderful book. And if you like this show, please tell your friends about it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love to have you see some more of my shows. Thanks for watching.